In the celestial hierarchy, the seraphim were the highest order of angels, beings of pure light, tasked with protecting the divine realm and keeping the balance between the forces of good and evil. Among them was an angel named Raziel, a warrior with unparalleled strength and wisdom. He stood at the forefront of battles between heaven and hell, wielding his divine sword, a weapon forged from the essence of pure light, capable of vanquishing the most malevolent forces. But Raziel, despite his devotion, was troubled by the rigid rules of the divine order. Unlike his fellow seraphim, Raziel felt a deep connection to humanity. He often descended to earth to observe mortals, their lives, struggles and triumphs. He saw within them a potential for both good and evil, and this intrigued him. While the other seraphim viewed mortals as fragile beings needing protection, Raziel saw them as complex and deserving of their own choices. One fateful day, Raziel defied the will of the divine council. Instead of simply observing the demonic forces that were corrupting humanity, he intervened, slaying a powerful demon that had been tormenting a small village. His act of defiance, though noble in intent, disrupted the celestial balance. Raziel was summoned back to the divine court, where the archangels awaited his judgment. The verdict was swift. For breaking the ancient laws of non-interference, Raziel was cast out of heaven. His wings, once radiant with divine light, turned dark, and his connection to the celestial realm was severed. However, as a final act of mercy, the council allowed him to keep his sword, the Seraphim's Blade, but its power was bound to his faith and his sense of purpose. Should he stray from his path, the light within the blade would dim, leaving him vulnerable. Now a fallen angel, Raziel wandered the earth, a being caught between two worlds, no longer accepted in heaven and despised by the forces of hell. His mission was clear: to protect humanity from the ever-growing threat of demonic forces that sought to enslave or destroy mankind. But the world had changed since his fall. Demons had become more cunning, hiding in the shadows, corrupting the hearts and minds of humans in subtle ways. Raziel could sense the darkness spreading, but his power alone was not enough to stop it. Years passed, and Raziel's presence became a whispered legend. Mortals who encountered him spoke of a mysterious warrior with glowing eyes and a sword that could cut through the night itself. Meanwhile, the demonic forces grew stronger, led by an ancient demon lord named Baelzar, who sought to open a rift between Earth and the infernal realms. If successful, it would unleash an army of demons that would reduce the world to chaos and despair. Baelzar, once a rival of Raziel in the Celestial Wars, had always resented the Seraphim's power. Now that Raziel was a fallen angel, Baelzar viewed him as a mere shadow of his former self. In the dark corners of the world, Baelzar spread his influence, whispering temptations to corrupt the hearts of humanity. He raised an army of demonic warriors determined to claim Earth as his dominion. Raziel, though exiled from heaven, could still sense the demonic energy emanating from Baelzar's forces. With each passing day, he felt the pull of the darkness growing stronger, threatening to consume everything in its path. His sword, the Seraphim's Blade, still pulsed with light, but it flickered more often now, a reminder that his power was tied to his faith in his mission and the hope he held for humanity's survival. Determined to stop Baelzar, Raziel began his hunt for the Demon Lord. His journey took him across desolate landscapes, abandoned cities, and ancient ruins where demonic activity was strongest. Along the way, Raziel encountered remnants of humanity, groups of survivors who had heard of the war between angels and demons but had never seen it with their own eyes. These survivors, despite their fear, found hope in Raziel's presence. To them, he was a savior, a protector in the face of unimaginable darkness. After months of searching, Raziel finally confronted Baelzar in the ruins of an ancient cathedral, a place once sacred but now desecrated by demonic rituals. The sky above was torn with dark clouds, lightning flashing as the two ancient foes faced each other. Baelzar, towering and monstrous, taunted Raziel, mocking his fall from grace and his weakened state. "You were once the pride of heaven, Raziel," Baelzar sneered, "but look at you now, an outcast clinging to a flickering blade. You have no place here." Raziel gripped the hilt of his sword tightly. The blade still shone with light, but it was not as brilliant as it had once been. He knew that this battle would test more than just his strength. It would test his resolve and his belief in the goodness of humanity. "You may have corrupted this world," Raziel replied, "but you will not take it. As long as I stand, I will fight for the light." With that, the battle began. Raziel's sword cut through the darkness, each swing releasing bursts of light that illuminated the cathedral. Baelzar fought with fury, wielding dark magic and summoning lesser demons to his aid. But Raziel, despite his fall, fought with the skill of a seraphim. His movements were swift, each strike calculated and precise. The battle raged for hours, both warriors evenly matched. But as the fight wore on, Raziel began to falter. The light in his blade flickered, growing dimmer with each passing moment. Baelzar seized the opportunity, striking Raziel with a blast of dark energy that sent him crashing to the ground. As Raziel lay there, battered and weakened, he heard Baelzar's voice echo in his mind. "You cannot win, Fallen One. Your time is over." But then, amidst the darkness, Raziel remembered the faces of the humans he had encountered, the survivors who had placed their hope in him. He thought of their resilience, their capacity for love and compassion, even in the face of despair. It was this faith in humanity that reignited the light within him. With a surge of strength, Raziel rose to his feet. The Seraphim's blade glowed brighter than ever before, its light blinding and pure. Baelzar recoiled, unable to withstand the radiance. Raziel swung the sword in one final powerful strike, cutting through Baelzar and banishing him to the infernal realms. With Baelzar defeated, the demonic forces retreated, and the rift between Earth and the infernal realms was sealed. Raziel, though victorious, knew that the battle was far from over. There would always be darkness in the world, and as a fallen angel, it was his duty to continue fighting it. He wandered the earth, a lone warrior with a sword of light, protecting humanity from the shadows. Though he could never return to heaven, Raziel found solace in his mission. He was no longer a seraphim, but in the eyes of those he saved, he was still a guardian, a fallen angel who fought for the light.